Going from a simple hiatus to fully getting removed from the group, the BOYZ member Haknyeon has been making headlines for the past few days, and the entire internet is in flames over what exactly the truth behind the matter is and whether he truly solicited a woman's services. On the morning of June 16th, fans of the BOYZ were met with unexpected news as it was announced that Haknyeon would be going on a temporary hiatus from group activities. The official statement posted by the group's agency 100 simply said that he would be stepping away due to personal reasons. With no other details being shared, the matter was quite suspicious from the very start. However, with the company apologizing, many saw this as a temporary issue. This doesn't mean that fans didn't worry, especially as the group has found themselves involved in several small controversies as of late, including a huge partying scandal. Online communities lit up with fans trying to make sense of the situation, with some even guessing that it might be a family issue, especially given the way Haknyeon had looked pretty down during a recent fan meeting in Japan. Others hoped he was just taking a break for mental health reasons, suggesting he'd return soon. Meanwhile, posts all over the internet have been full of supportive messages like, "Wherever he is, I just hope he's okay, and I hope he will settle things up smoothly so he can come back to us sooner." Make sure to subscribe to the channel to follow along with more news regarding the matter, and don't forget to leave your feelings in the comments below. Despite how fans felt, the matter was very final as the agency announced they had become aware of issues involving Joo Haknyeon's private life and had paused his activities to investigate. After confirming the seriousness of the situation, they made it clear that they no longer felt they could trust him as an artist, and even mentioned that they had spoken with the other members and reached the decision together. The language in the statement was careful, but it was very clear that something serious had happened, and Haknyeon was out of the group for good. While the company didn't share exact details at the time, the news was already starting to spread everywhere online. And it turns out that the case Haknyeon had gotten involved in was indeed extremely serious, as not long before the official announcement, a Japanese media outlet reportedly sent an inquiry to 100 regarding Haknyeon. According to their report, Haknyeon had been spotted in late May meeting privately with a woman identified as Asuka Kirara, a former Japanese adult video actress who is now an influencer. The meeting was said to have taken place at a bar in Roppongi, Tokyo, and witnesses allegedly saw Haknyeon and Asuka drinking together, with some moments of physical closeness, like hugging and her resting her chin on his shoulder, being noted. According to them, artist and former 100 executive producer MC Mong was also in their company. He too was recently terminated from the company, around the time of Haknyeon's initial hiatus, and it wasn't until the reports about Haknyeon that the pieces started to connect. When asked about the situation, 100 confirmed that they had received the inquiry and had spoken with Haknyeon, where he, after being presented with some evidence, actually admitted to the happenings. This response alone made it clear that at least some part of the report was true, though the company didn't go into exact specifics. At the time, it sounded like Haknyeon was being punished for dating someone, which is why many fans rallied to his side and demanded that the company shouldn't make an issue out of it. Why is this inappropriate? Her previous job has nothing to do with who she is as a person. He can date whoever he likes. However, it quickly turned out that this wasn't just about Haknyeon allegedly dating a former adult video star, but according to insider accounts, he had actually been accused of soliciting Asuka's services during that same meeting. The brought-up accusations are actually illegal under Korean law, even if they take place outside of the country, which could result in fines or even jail time in severe circumstances. And with reports claiming that Haknyeon had admitted to his doings after being confronted with evidence, it has shocked netizens all over the world. Some expressed disappointment and anger, writing things like, "That's worse than just dating. Being caught dating would have been better." And they say we don't date, but this is the reality in Korea. Others questioned why exactly he would even ever go down this route, with one netizen saying, if he was going to date, he should have done it properly. He could have eaten well at least. At the same time, there were signs that this sudden shift had deeply affected not only fans, but also Haknyeon's fellow members. Around the same time the hiatus news initially broke, fellow The BOYZ member Eric was seen crying after finishing an episode of Idol Radio. He had hosted the show as usual, but fans noticed that as he left and greeted them from his car, he appeared to be overwhelmed with emotion, even covering his face with his hands. Haknyeon's initial hiatus was announced on June 16th at 10:20 a.m. KST, while Idol Radio began at 9 p.m. KST that same day. The timing raised many questions, with fans at first believing that he was perhaps overwhelmed with the ongoing rumors surrounding multiple members members of the group. But after Haknyeon's scandal was revealed, fans started to connect the dots, assuming Eric may have already known the full story before the public did and was instead mourning his fellow group member and the trust that had been broken between the group and fans. Fans immediately saw the situation with new eyes, as many now felt extremely bad for the situation that Eric was put in, writing, "We know now, Eric, it's okay, you must be feeling broken too." Whether Eric's reaction was directly related to Haknyeon or not, it was definitely clear that emotions were running high behind the scenes and that none of the other members had it easy either. The company had indeed stated that the decision for Haknyeon to leave had been made after discussions with the rest of the members, and for many longtime fans, the idea that Haknyeon's exit was agreed upon by the team made the whole thing even more heartbreaking. As netizens and fans are taking in the news, the group members have also spoken out after the news dropped, sharing their own feelings on the situation with fans. In K-pop, it's common for companies to tightly control statements during scandals. Often, group members stay silent for weeks, if not longer, as agencies work behind the scenes. But this time, the members of the BOYZ didn't wait, which is quite unusual in these situations. Within a day of Haknyeon's removal, several of them shared personal and emotional messages with fans, which has led many to believe the decision for him to leave was already made before the public was told about the hiatus. Eric was also the first member to speak up on his personal feelings on the situation, perhaps knowing that fans had been so worried for him before the news even dropped. He posted a heartfelt message where he admitted he didn't know what words could comfort fans, but still wanted to try, writing, "I sincerely apologize for the recent wave of upsetting news that has caused hurt and disappointment. I exist and keep going because of you." To many, it was obvious that he himself was struggling to even process the situation, which is why all he could do was hope to try and comfort all the fans who had been through everything with them. Junghoon also reached out to fans, sharing that the thought of their fans was the only thing getting him through this, saying, "You're tired, aren't you? Just seeing your smiling faces made me happy, but now I feel sad, worried I might not get to see you smile anymore." He mentioned how he had leaned on fans in the past and asked if it was okay if he were to do it again. Q kept his message short but honest, admitting how sorry he was that this was happening in the first place, perhaps even alluding to all the other scandals the group has been getting into lately, as he spoke about how he feels like the group has only been causing fans pain lately. Juyeon similarly apologized for what the fans had to go through, and Yeonjae even dropped that if he could go back and change things, he would do it, which truly points to how much pain the members have been feeling throughout all of this. Tevin took things even further with his message, as he made sure to include all the international fans who were waiting for news by writing his message both in Korean and English, apologizing for everything that has been going on. "We, who should always be a source of strength for the B, haven't been able to do that recently, and that makes me feel even more sorry." In every message, everyone could see a recurring pattern, as it was clear that all members have deep regret over how much fans have been hurting lately, and are trying their best to try and support their fans with a renewed promise to work hard and do better. None of the members mentioned Haknyeon by name, but the context was clear, and while they didn't spell out what had happened, the emotions in their writing made it obvious just how serious the situation was. But it wasn't just the other members who've tried to comfort fans, as Haknyeon's own response was also posted to social media. Late that same night, Haknyeon posted a handwritten letter to Instagram where he directly addressed the rumors about him engaging in illegal activity. He actually firmly denied the report, saying, "While it is true that I was at that gathering, it is completely false that I engaged in any illegal activity, such as the soliciting that is being mentioned." He also apologized for causing concern and said he was reflecting on his actions. But his statement only led to more confusion, since while Haknyeon insists he did not do anything illegal, the speed of the company's decision to remove him and the serious tone of the members' responses suggested otherwise. If there truly had been no legal wrongdoing, many fans question why the company would choose to cut ties with him so fast. Especially considering how central Haknyeon was to the group, this reaction feels extreme unless something serious had happened behind the scenes. His words don't exactly align with the version shared by the company either, and that mismatch has left fans unsure of what to believe. Some posts even highlighted the harsh reality of the situation. A man saying he's innocent does not make him innocent. Seeing as how one report had said that Haknyeon had actually admitted to doing the things he was accused of, fans had a hard time deciding what the truth was. In fact, some netizens even pointed out that the letter itself was written quite weirdly, which also put into question its authenticity. The spacing in the sentences was quite awkward, and he even broke up the word worried, which many found quite unusual. Many netizens even mocked him for this move, leaving comments such as, "Did he copy out whatever someone wrote for him? The heck is worried." However, others have also pointed out that if he really was guilty, the best way to deal with things would be to stay silent at the moment, and it wouldn't make much sense to lie either if the evidence was indeed there to convict him of a crime. Currently, it is said a police report has been filed against Haknyeon considering the illegal wrongdoings. However, it's unclear what exactly the report will lead to, as no further information has been disclosed, at least not publicly. But Haknyeon's statement and the fact that he's speaking at all could mean he's not ready to disappear from the industry. One reason why he might be trying to tell his side of the story and insert doubt into the media might also be to make sure that he isn't completely blacklisted from pursuing a career in the entertainment industry. Though seeing as the rest of the group's members have even unfollowed him on social media by now, it's unlikely that anything Haknyeon could say would put him back in the company's good graces, and if he is ever to return to the industry, it's hard to imagine that it would be alongside the boys.